I've talked about Justice League Dark here quite a few times on the channel. The team is one of my favorite aspects of DC Comics, so I'm happy to once again bring you news from the magical side of DC Comics. This time, another exclusive scoop from Industry Insider Mr. Mikey Sutton. So let's dive right in, but before we do, let me say thank you for watching JLS Comics, whether you've been with me for a while or it's your first time here. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and share it so you and your friends don't miss the content I upload just like this every few days. Let's jump into the story. As always, I'm going to read it to you verbatim and in its entirety, and then we'll break it down together. So here it is, quote, "Welcome to the Mikey Sutton 4th of July Scoop Jam. Several YouTube channels throughout the world, including Lords of the Longbox, Pop Culture Minefield, and Pete's Basement, are teaming up to share Sutton scoops. The following is an exclusive. Typical for a JJ Abrams project, everyone is in the dark," I see what you did there, "about his DC debut for HBO Max. The Justice League Dark TV series will be under his production wing, and while its roster of horror heroes hasn't been officially revealed yet, there have been leaks on some who are in development. One of them is Detective Chimp, already proving that the show isn't afraid to embrace the colorful weirdness and quirky wit of the comic book. There is some excitement about the possibility of Detective Chimp being on the show, as he has the potential of being a scene stealer and a meme generator. Social media buzz will drive the general public to see this obscure team. After all, this isn't the Justice League, but a group of weirdos that are mainly used to inhabit DC's college crowd Vertigo imprint. While there are no plans to include Batman in the series, Man-Bat is under serious consideration for the team. Man-Bat truly brings out the monstrous element of the franchise, as well as provide a showcase for HBO's bigger budget FX to grab the spotlight. Your fly in the dark, Mikey Sutton." End quote. So we've talked about Justice League Dark a few times here on the channel as we've followed the history of the team and the progress of the show's development. To briefly recap, Justice League Dark is a show that will air on Warner Media's HBO Max streaming platform. It's one of the projects that JJ Abrams is producing through his production company called Bad Robot. It was part of a $500 million exclusivity deal that JJ signed with Warner in the fall of 2019 after a big bidding war. Coming out of that deal, Justice League Dark is part of a trio of announcements as their first projects, along with the Stephen King The Shining spin-off called Overlook and a new IP called Duster. Justice League Dark is the team to deal with supernatural, occult, and magical threats to the DC universe, and with someone like JJ Abrams on board, known for things like Lost, Cloverfield, Westworld, Super 8, as well as alien outings by the way of both Star Wars and Star Trek, this project seems right at home with Bad Robot and well within JJ's wheelhouse of expertise, although we're not sure if he's going to direct any of it yet. JJ actually pitched the idea to HBO Max. Kevin Riley, the content chief at HBO Max, spoke with Business Insider recently and commented. He said, "Yes, he's always loved it. He always felt that there was a lot of opportunity there and an unexplored territory." And this is important, a kind of pond that he could play in exclusively. So until now, details have been scarce. We know who's been on the team in comic books in the past, of course, like Zatanna, John Constantine, Swamp Thing, Deadman, Madame Xanadu, and a host of others as the roster expanded with subsequent volumes and missions. But like Kevin Riley said, this is a largely unexplored pool of characters on screen that JJ can play in. Outside of Swamp Thing, Constantine, and Zatanna, the rest of the team hasn't been used on screen in live action, that is, at all. So it is exciting to learn from Mikey's scoop how this team is shaping up. Detective Chimp and Man-Bat would be fantastic additions to this occultist group of heroes, but who are they and does it make sense? Detective Chimp was once a common chimpanzee who was captured in Africa in 1953 by a guy named Fred Thorpe and made an act in Traveling Carnival show. Later, Rex the Wonder Dog, another anthropomorphic hero in the DC universe, took him to the Fountain of Youth in the Caribbean. There, bathing in the mystical waters of the spring, Detective Chimp amplified his brain processing power and developed an ability to speak to humans. He left the carnival, but after learning that his old friend Jim died, Detective Chimp became an alcoholic and started hanging out all the time at a magic bar from another dimension called Oblivion Bar. It became home to a group before Justice League Dark called Shadow Pact, which wanted to take down the Spectre. The bar itself was heavily featured in DC Rebirth's Justice League Dark series as the dark multiverse ravaged the world. With a gloomy, jaded look at the world and a bottle in his hand, Detective Chimp could very well turn into this universe's version of the wildly popular Rocket Raccoon, although a bit more emo. His presence also bodes well for the appearance of the Oblivion Bar as well. In stories dealing with dark themes and mystical tensions, Detective Chimp could be the knife that cuts the tension at just the right amount of time while still giving the team brain power from an investigative perspective. Man-Bat comes to the team by way of Batman's Rogues Gallery. That said, in 1985, he was part of a team with the Creeper, Etrigan the Demon, Phantom Stranger, Madame Xanadu, Black Orchid, and Blue Devil, many of whom would go on to later be part of the Justice League, so his call-up to the team would very much be an organic one. Originally known as Kirk Langstrom, he became a zoologist and developed a serum from the glands of bats that turned him into Man-Bat. It was intended to help him develop echolocation powers, the powers that bats use to send out signals like a radar to quote-unquote see, but it turned him into a terrifying and fearsome half-man, half-bat abomination, Man-Bat. While he's most notably a villain and has suffered from addiction to his serum, Man-Bat joined Justice League Dark for the 2018 DC Rebirth series along with, yes, Detective Chimp. Man-Bat's weakness could very easily become a major plot point for the series, as it was in the comic book run that he turned on his team and tried to kill them. Both Man-Bat and Detective Chimp are on that 2018 team, a team founded by Wonder Woman, who, as I'm sure you guessed, they won't be using in the series, so that likely means that the previous founder and former teammate to Man-Bat, Madame Xanadu, will be on the team, at least to found it. So we'll have a blending of the two rosters, hopefully with Zatanna coming in to lead them. Zatanna showed up on Smallville, so if JJ wants to use another Homo Magi, he could lean on Nightshade, another character from Man-Bat's Shadow Pack days. And if they do use Man-Bat's weakness as a plot device and he does leave the team, it would follow the comic book series where Buddy Baker, aka Animal Man, joins up. We could also see the popular Boston Brand as Deadman, Etrigan the Demon for that underworld connection, and Black Orchid. Dr. Fate was on the team, however, I hear he, along with Hawkman and Hawkgirl, are reserved for Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam film, which will touch on the Egyptian mythology from which they are all derived. Swamp Thing was on this team as well. However, based on previous news that I revealed in the past, the CW might want to develop another season of the DC Universe show if it does well upon airing, so they may not want to overlap. However, if CW doesn't go that route, this could be a way for Derek Mears' Swamp Thing to live on. The smart play, though, is to leave him as reserved for the show. That means Man-Bat certainly would fill in the monster role on the roster. And that would also lend credence to Black Orchid, who's also able to fill in as a floronic human-plant hybrid instead of Swampy. She's also tied to Phantom Stranger, but Phantom Stranger was in Swamp Thing Season 1, so I doubt JJ would want to use that character again so soon, given what was said in the quotes I mentioned. Another possibility for the team is Dr. Mist, and that would mean Felix Faust as a villain, since Mist was a spy for Felix for a while. And that means with my breakdown coupled with Mikey's exclusive leak that I revealed here, the team would be Madame Xanadu to start, Zatanna, Nightshade, Detective Chimp, Man-Bat, Black Orchid, Dr. Mist, and then either Deadman or Etrigan the Demon. But now I'm getting far into the realm of speculation here. If you think about it though, it does make sense. This would give the team a lot of dynamics, a ranged cast of characters to make everyone happy, and set them up for both internal and external struggles. They'd have a range of skill sets, as well as a way to rotate the roster for a possible second season. They'd have their brooding characters, their funny characters to cut up those tension moments. They have their investigative powers, they have their connection to the underworld. So much potential here. And mixing Man-Bat and Detective Chimp with some well-known characters plays right into JJ's desire to dip into unexplored territory, while also bringing in familiarity and household names, and by extension, viewership and interest to the series. So what do you think of this news? Are you excited to see Detective Chimp and Man-Bat in the Justice League Dark series? Who else would you like to see on the team? Go ahead and sound off in the comments and we'll continue the conversation down there. Until then, that's a wrap on this one, my friends. Thank you to Mikey Sutton for the exclusive scoop today, and thank you for watching JLS Comics. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, so you can be one of the first to know when I upload videos just like this each and every week. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.